Canada finds itself at a defining inflection point in its modern defense history. As citizens who cherish our sovereignty, contribute to global stability, and rely on the enduring strength of our alliances, the national discussion surrounding the future fighter program has never been more relevant or urgent. This multi-billion-dollar decision, a commitment that will shape the capability of the Royal Canadian Air Force well into the 2062, is a testament to our enduring commitment to responsible governance, economic foresight, and military excellence. This is not simply a procurement, it is a profound act of strategic planning for the next generation of Canadians. For nearly 40 years, the stalwart CF-18 Hornets have been the steel wings guarding our vast and challenging airspace. They have served with distinction, upholding our commitments under the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and critically, maintaining the integrated defense of our continent alongside the United States through NORAD. Yet, the march of time is relentless. As public information from the Department of National Defense has confirmed, the structural life of these aging airframes is drawing to a close, maintenance requirements are continually growing, and the difficulty in sourcing critical parts is becoming increasingly pronounced. The reality is clear. Despite the continued capability of our existing fleet, the sheer scope of Canada's wide territory, the unique demands of our harsh northern environment, and continuous commitments to continental defense mean the CF-18 fleet operates under tremendous, sustained pressure. This foundational truth, the absolute necessity of a replacement, is the bedrock upon which this strategic evaluation is built. Our northern geography imposes specific and rigorous operational demands that few nations fully comprehend. Experts publishing in open military journals consistently emphasize that the vastness of Canada's airspace mandates aircraft that can guarantee rapid response times, possess exceptional long-range endurance, and offer unwavering reliability in the exceedingly severe conditions of the Arctic. For years, successive Canadian governments have acknowledged that a replacement for the CF-18 is essential to maintain our national sovereignty, meet our alliance obligations, and ensure our readiness for the long-term strategic future. This shared recognition of necessity, spanning across political and military leadership, provides the essential context for why the final decision must be comprehensive, objective, and verified. The international fighter competition drew global attention, and Canada conducted an exhaustive, phased study involving a large number of potential aircraft. This meticulous review was based on a balanced scorecard of core aspects: capability requirements for future threats, significant industrial benefits for the Canadian economy, rigorous cost analysis, and guaranteed long-term sustainment. The process culminated in the final stage where two profoundly different profiles were meticulously evaluated. On one side, the Saab Gripen E presented an attractive package emphasizing significant economic gains, substantial domestic industrial participation, and a streamlined logistics approach. On the other, the Lockheed Martin F-35 offered highly advanced sensors, profound integration capabilities with allied networks, and a proven fifth-generation capability already deployed in service with virtually all of Canada's most critical defense partners. The central dynamic of the ongoing conversation lies precisely within these strategic contrasts. The genuine interest Ottawa demonstrated in the Gripen, especially within the context of the plan presented by Saab, speaks volumes about our nation's commitment to industrial growth. The transfer of expertise, the tangible possibility of local manufacturing, and the establishment of a long-term industrial partnership arrangement were all given significant weight. Defense articles across Europe and North America have repeatedly highlighted Sweden's well-established emphasis on distributed operations, rapid turnaround times, a comparatively lower relative operating cost, and robust availability rates. The Gripen's design has evolved over decades, precisely to meet the demands of challenging climatic conditions and limited basing infrastructure advantages that align perfectly with Canada's unique objectives of maintaining strong cost control and preserving sovereign control over certain key technologies. It is entirely understandable, and indeed expected, that policymakers acknowledge the importance of these economic components, especially given that the expansion of the economy and the creation of high-value jobs within the country remain national priorities. The Gripen proposal articulated a vision in which Canada plays a key role in the long-term creation and sustainment of the aircraft, a vision that resonated deeply with our economic goals. However, the military leaders of the Royal Canadian Air Force, RCAF, those charged with putting Canadian pilots into harm's way, approach aircraft evaluation primarily through the lens of military necessity, not economic interest alone. For the RCAF, particularly concerning our combined activities under NORAD and with our NATO allies, the core priorities are survivability, sensor performance, interoperability, and long-term relevance against emerging threats. Public defense sector evaluations consistently affirm that NORAD remains arguably the most deeply integrated bilateral security system in the world. Within this essential architecture, the smooth sharing of data, synchronized operations, and unified threat detection across enormous continental distances are absolutely vital components. The F-35 is already incorporated extensively into this operational paradigm, flying not only with the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps, but across the air forces of nearly all our closest allies. When operating in challenging environments, its sensors compile data into a single, comprehensive operational picture, empowering pilots with the ability to identify, track, and classify potential risks at an earlier, safer stage. Impartial assessments by NATO partners and defense research groups frequently underscore the game-changing capabilities provided by its sophisticated sensor fusion and network connectivity. It is a logical and data-driven consequence of this reality that the vast majority of senior RCAF leadership consistently favors the F-35 as a potential long-term national option. The fundamental differentiating line in this procurement process is therefore the strategic disparity between the powerful industrial and economic incentives on one hand and the overriding operational performance requirements on the other. It is an undeniable fact that the government in Ottawa, informed by procurement frameworks and economic analysis studies, places a primary emphasis on job development, investment, and industrial returns. Conversely, the RCAF, through capacity assessments, joint training exercises, and alliance evaluations, records its principal concerns as future threat scenarios, pilot safety, and operational longevity. Both viewpoints are grounded on legitimate, powerful commitments to the nation's well-being, yet the conclusions they produce are by their nature distinct. This tension is not a rumor or a sign of dysfunction. It is the logical and expected outcome of a modern defense procurement methodology that responsibly strives to strike a meaningful balance between national policy, military necessity, and maximized economic impact. Furthermore, Canada's responsibilities in the Arctic infuse the discussion with an additional critical dimension of national significance. Defense documents and Northern security assessments persistently highlight the substantial increase in major power activity within the Arctic Circle region, a highly strategic location. Long-range patrols, marine transits, and increasing strategic interest mean that facilities capable of monitoring and interdicting communications in the northern region are of rising importance. Canada's geography requires aircraft that can conduct operations over immense distances, possess advanced detection systems, and maintain robust communication with friendly forces. NORAD already manages long-range surveillance networks, early warning systems, and sensors across the continent, and the F-35 integrates with these systems seamlessly. This integration is a key strategic advantage with the potential to significantly enhance situational awareness in Arctic actions, where early notice and prompt response are paramount. While the Gripen's operational flexibility and capacity to function from simplified airstrips bring distinct value, these characteristics may not, on their own, be sufficient to compensate for the profound benefits that come with deep, immediate integration into a continental defense architecture. As public debate has evolved, the media coverage has naturally shifted its focus between political considerations, industrial demands, and military recommendations. The federal government, referencing publicly available procurement data, has consistently emphasized the project's cost-effectiveness and the guaranteed industrial benefits factors that, over the long run, directly impact national budgets and economic planning. Simultaneously, the RCAF has maintained its emphasis on capability scoring, survivability models, and long-term threat analysis concepts grounded in rigorous defense research and internal reviews. The occurrence of robust discussion is an inherent outcome in circumstances where two distinct sets of national priorities legitimately serve the national interest. This scenario is not a case of national dysfunction. It is a clear example of the complexity and strategic discipline required in modern military acquisition. Our collective obligation as engaged Canadians is to look beyond speculation, to inform ourselves using the open reports available through government communications and defense publications, and to construct opinions founded on accurate, verified knowledge. This pivotal choice is approaching finalization, a selection concerning which fighter aircraft will define Canada's air defense posture for an entire generation. This decision touches thousands of Canadian aerospace personnel, impacts the growth of our industrial sector, secures the defense of our northern region, reinforces our alliances, and ultimately safeguards the national security of our country. Evidence, accountability, and a focused, long-term perspective are now more vital than ever before. What do you, as a Canadian who values our strategic future, believe is the most critical factor economic return or operational integration in ensuring our national security for the next 40 years? Share your perspective in the comments below. The rigorous and multifaceted evaluation process employed by Canada is a profound source of national pride, demonstrating a level of strategic discipline that respects both the military's critical operational needs and the government's essential mandate to foster domestic prosperity. As we transition from the necessity of replacement established by the CF-8, 18's nearly 40 years of distinguished service, and the undeniable strain on its aging airframes, we must now focus intently on the future relevance of the competing proposals. This is where the core values of Canada's global stance and domestic priorities converge, demanding a decision that maximizes our long-term advantage. The outcome of this procurement is a foundational act that secures our place within global security structures and simultaneously invests directly in Canadian jobs and innovation, ensuring the final fighter fleet remains viable and relevant well into the 2060 seconds. The complexity of balancing these twin imperatives, military dominance and economic stability, is the true mark of sophisticated national governance. Our commitment to the integrated continental defense system under NORAD and our long-standing responsibilities within NATO are not merely policy points. They are non-negotiable, strategic imperatives that form the bedrock of our defense policy. Public briefings from both Ottawa and Washington repeatedly underscore the absolute necessity of unified command structures, shared situational awareness, and harmonized systems for effective continental defense, especially given the rising strategic importance of the Arctic. The F-35 is already the intrinsic anchor in this deeply integrated design, and selecting it is strategically projected to immediately and effectively strengthen Canada's position within that vast continental network for many decades to come, ensuring our pilots and command elements remain at the cutting edge of Allied air power. The F-35's advanced sensor capability, its unparalleled ability to seamlessly integrate with the Allied network, a critical function for operations over the expansive and often unmonitored northern approaches, and its assured long-term upgrade path have led dozens of Allied and partner countries to choose it. This widespread adoption confirms its status as the cornerstone for partner force modernization throughout the democratic world. This is a powerful, undeniable argument rooted in established alliance strategy and the operational reality of defending North America. The integration with existing NORAD long-range surveillance networks and early warning systems would be instantaneous and flawless, offering a decisive advantage where early detection and prompt response are absolutely paramount. Conversely, should the Saab Gripen E be selected, it would necessitate incorporating a non-American aircraft into a defense system that is overwhelmingly centered on the United States and its platforms. While technically achievable given the sophistication of modern data links and communication protocols, defense analysts across the spectrum agree that this undertaking would be exceptionally challenging, complex, and costly in the long term. It would require significant bespoke investment, dedicated development time, and ongoing resources to achieve the necessary degree of seamless interoperability required for integrated continental operations. These concerns are not theoretical or speculative. They stem directly from verified research and the practical complexities of managing deeply integrated multinational defense systems. The costs associated with achieving this level of deep integration must be factored into the total life cycle analysis, potentially mitigating the apparent operational cost advantages of the Gripen. The Gripen, however, continues to earn acceptance across the board for its reliability, agility, and streamlined cost efficiency profile, offering distinct strategic value based on its decades-long design, focus on distributed operations, and low logistical footprint. Neither aircraft is inherently worthless. Both are demonstrably superior to the platform they would replace. Their purpose is simply to offer varied strategic models for our future air power, tailored either toward maximizing alliance fusion or maximizing domestic industrial flexibility. This brings us back to the crucial economic dimension, a key differentiator that resonates deeply with the Canadian public, ensuring that the defense spending acts as an engine for domestic growth. A significant portion of the total industrial involvement is held by the manufacturing sector in Canada. Aerospace companies across the country are actively searching for long-term manufacturing roles, secure, predictable contracts, and sustainable relationships with technology-specialized firms. Public statements made by industry executives consistently highlight the importance of securing high-value work that supports skilled labor, engineering expertise, and the expansion of the national economy. The proposal from Sweden offers a deep technology transfer, aligning perfectly with Canada's desire to enhance its own sovereign industrial capacity, potentially giving Canadian companies unprecedented access to source codes and maintenance specialization. Simultaneously, the certainty that Lockheed Martin provides, namely the guaranteed long-term incorporation of Canadian firms into the global supply chain for the F-35, delivers immense, predictable value and stability to our aerospace sector, ensuring thousands of high-tech jobs remain secure for the long haul. This comparative model illuminates the enormous variety of economic and industrial outcomes Canada must responsibly consider in this once-in-a-generation procurement. Furthermore, defense economists consistently note that the specific methodology used in procurement significantly influences the established cost-per-flight hour comparisons. Due to its intrinsic design emphasis on mechanical simplicity and ease of maintenance in austere environments, the Gripen often initially presents the impression of lower operating costs. However, actual expenses can fluctuate significantly based on the specific operational environment, such as the punishing conditions of the Arctic weather, the detailed complexity of mission requirements like long-range interception, and the complexity of the onboard features utilized by the RCAF. The F-35, while incurring a demonstrably higher operational expense profile, provides expanded and ever-evolving capabilities resulting from ongoing global sustainment developments where the cost of fleet maintenance is shared among a coalition of users. Both open source evaluations and government audits clearly document these economic variances and underscore the need for realistic, holistic, long-term costing. Therefore, the core objective of this complex financial discussion is not merely to determine which plane is cheaper in a vacuum, but rather to define the cost structure that is most appropriate for Canada's long-term military posture, a structure that must seamlessly account for deep Allied integration, sustained Arctic operations, and domestic industrial maintenance for up to 40 years. The military community, meanwhile, continues to focus relentlessly on the future threat matrix. Analysts are closely tracking several alarming global trends, including the rapid proliferation of new long-range missile systems, major advancements in hostile radar technology, and mounting international tensions in the polar regions. Military journals universally stress that survivability in increasingly contested airspace, particularly the crucial northern approaches to the continent, will increasingly depend on characteristics such as inherent stealth, superior sensor fusion, and sophisticated electronic warfare capabilities. This operational perspective helps explain why the senior leadership of the RCAF continues to strongly and consistently advocate for the F-35. Their primary purpose is driven by data-supported threat models and operational projections, seeking to ensure that Canadian pilots fly the aircraft that offers the highest possible level of expertise and security currently available on the world market, protecting Canada well past the 2,060 seconds. They aim to mitigate the risk to Canadian aircrews by maximizing technological advantage. The worldview of Ottawa, as reflected by the government's balanced approach, remains anchored by the fundamental need to benefit the national economy. The Gripen presents a powerful industrial solution capable of providing a significant volume of domestic high-skilled labor and potentially giving Canada greater supply chain independence. Policymakers assess these proposals through the lens of job creation and national technology development. It is imperative to understand that neither viewpoint, the military's focus on capability, nor the government's focus on economics, is incorrect or misguided. Both courses of action are beneficial to legitimate national interests, which is precisely why the dispute continues with such vigor, yet remains firmly grounded on true, measurable considerations rather than mere political narratives. This long-term, deliberate decision-making process is a vital reflection of the deep complexity involved in forging a modern, secure air force for a G7 nation. Given Canada's unique geography, its critical alliances, and its evolving strategic environment, it is absolutely essential to engage in long-term planning supported by clear, verified information and disciplined review. The procurement process ensures that our investment is sound, sustainable, and capable of addressing strategic challenges that may not yet fully exist. The end outcome of this multi-year process will have pervasive, long-lasting effects on the daily jobs of thousands of Canadian aviation personnel, the stability and growth of our high-tech industrial sector, the effective defense of our northern region, the strength of our alliance integration, and the overall security of the nation. In this critical time, a commitment to evidence, accountability, and a long-term viewpoint ensures the final choice, whether it leans toward maximal allied integration or maximal domestic industrial return, will be a choice made for the enduring strength and pride of Canada. This is a generational investment in Canadian security and prosperity. We, as citizens, have the opportunity to engage constructively in this decision. What strategic balance between leading-edge allied integration and sovereign industrial control do you believe best represents the Canadian way forward for the next 40 years? Share your thoughts below and join this vital national conversation. As this critical process moves forward, your voice matters more than ever. If you value this kind of clear, evidence-based reporting on Canadian defense strategy, please show your support. Like this video and subscribe to our channel to keep high-quality reporting alive. We are building the future together. Now, we want to hear from you. Which specific industrial benefit from the proposals excites you the most? Do you see the Arctic as the primary driver for interoperability, or is NATO commitment more central? And finally, what essential quality must Canada's next fighter possess to fly safely past the 2,060 seconds? Thank you for joining this vital national conversation. God bless, and wishing you all the very best.